Champagne and V, ready to rock out every Thursday night on Pharcyde TV. We are so looking forward to being part of the fam. Shout out to Pharcyde TV for hosting Champagne and Conversations. You guys got to check it out. Welcome, Dres, to Champagne and Conversation, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
That's what's up. I'm in the place to be. That's what's up. No doubt.
That is it. I am super excited. And I told you I'm going to try not to fan out, but I might a little bit. So don't mind me.
It's all good. I appreciate the love.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have the legend Dres with us today on Champagne and Conversations. And I am super excited for your new project. It is oh so timely, and was happy that you had a moment to actually sit and talk to us about the inspiration. Obviously, once he gets into it, guys, you'll know what the inspiration was. But one of the songs, Dilla Drums, that we kind of just sampled a little bit on our IG. And I want you to get into that. I want you to talk about your inspiration for that and what you were thinking when you put it together.
Okay, well, you know what? It's definitely an honor to be here talking to you. And like, I'm gonna just take you back a little bit and tell you about the new project, which will bring me to Dilla Drums.
Absolutely.
Like a year and a half ago or so, I was doing I still do a lot of shows. I have my own label. Name of the label is called Pool of Genius. So I put out independent projects on my own over the years. And, I still do a lot of touring globally, all around the world, the States, what have you. And so I had a show in Chicago, and cats are like, yo, Dilla's mom is here. Would you like to meet her? And I personally didn't have that relationship with Dilla. But I mean, he was cool with all of the natives, and even other friends of mine, and just nothing but love, so much love for this dude, And so to which I'm like, of course I'd love to meet his mom, So they bring her in the back, and I'm talking to his mom. I meet her husband whose name is Tony, and it turns out Tony knows some of my people down south and this, that, and the other, and so we just hit it off. And so it was an honor to meet her. And then maybe a month and a half after that, I had a show in Puerto Rico. And I'm in Puerto Rico, and I look to the right of the stage, and who's there but Dilla's mom and her husband Tony. Mm-hmm. So after the show, I kind of go straight to them. We're talking, and they have a house in Puerto Rico. They invite me back where she's gonna cook, and he's got some DJs coming to play some music in the yard and all of this stuff. So I'm like, oh man, that's what's up. So I go back, and I'm hanging out with them. I'm literally just me, and my Dukes is in the kitchen while she's cooking, and she's telling me all of this stuff about her son, and I'm getting this knowledge of him firsthand from his mom, and it's just really an amazing conversation. And, we eating, I start kicking it with Tony. And by the end of the night, they kind of let me know that they had just gotten the rights to a lot of his music back under the umbrella of the estate. Okay. And they were interested in different things to do with the catalog. And, and even some of his unreleased stuff. they asked me would I be interested in putting a project together from his personal files, to which I was blown away. I mean, like I would have been blown away to get a track or two, but to put a whole project together was like, wow, like they could have asked anybody in the world and they would have been like, thank you, So I said, yes, of course. And, but it started me on this journey, like, whereas I started, like really doing my due diligence and just listening to every interview and every track that might be online and quizzing my friends about their favorite Dilla tracks. And, it just began this journey for me. And I had to go to meet Tony in DC to meet at the studio to select tracks and this, that, and the other. I do all of that, get back to New York, and I started putting this project together. And of course, the COVID comes and it kind of puts a little damper and everything. Everybody had to pause for a little while, but I was writing and finishing up my stuff idea-wise and this, that, and the other. So as soon as I got a chance to get back in the studio, I finished up the project. But while I'm mixing the project, I was realizing that a particular song by the name of Dilla Drums that features Chuck D was like we were coming up on the election, and I was like, wow, this song is really more powerful right now than it's going to be after the election. And then it's going to be next year when the project comes out, 2021. So I reached out to a friend, MJ, who's a really dope publicist. And, I kind of let her know, I'd like that I have this song that I'd like to leak. And, that it's a really true leak. It's not mastered yet. It's not for sale anywhere. You can't buy it anywhere. It kind of has to be given to you. You know what I'm saying? And so I sent it to MJ and I kind of let her know I'd like to use it as a voting initiative. It's one of the many things that people are using to kind of, make sure everybody's voting. And so she sent it to everyone and it just takes this life of its own, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a reflection of the bar, where the bar is for this project. Like there's no song on this D&D project. D&D is Dilla and Dres. Okay. Project that falls below Dilla Drums. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the bar. Okay. And it's an amazing project. And it's got features from the like of like I said, Chuck D, but there's also CeeLo Green, Bun B, Corey Guns, my man Alexander Simone, who's the grandson of Nina Simone, Freeway, to Jay Sands.
Oh
to,
man.
I mean,
that's
like
coming out so when? Can you leak that? Leak that?
Yeah, like it's an amazing project.
MJ, send me that.
All right, yeah, it's coming. It's definitely coming. So I'm just in a place now where there's actually gonna be a few surprises on it, because even in selecting
surprises more than what you just named.
You know what? There actually is a few other things going on as well, and people are gonna get a chance to hear me in a way that they've never heard me before as well. The name of the project is called No Words. And a lot of times, especially with the older artists, like in hip hop, there's a lot of ageism, you know what I'm saying? Whereas a younger cat would be like, I don't really mess with them older dudes and I don't mess with those kind of beats and this, that, and the other. And the young cat and the older cats are looking at the young cats trying to explain how it was in my day and my era and the golden era and this, that, and the other. And there's a little gap between us, you know what I'm saying? And we're both to blame, you know what I'm saying? A younger cat needs to understand that people's attention spans are really short, especially now. And the type of presidents that you want to set, you don't want to set the presidents, I don't mess with them older cats. Because if you're fortunate enough to have a career 5-6 years, like I said, everybody's attention span is short. So in 5 or 6 years, you're the older cat. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to set the presidents, I don't mess with them older cats. You want to set the example that, let me show you my inspiration. Let me introduce you to one of the cats that made me want to rhyme. Make sure the people that kind of,
let me help you understand.
Right. And do your homework. A lot of times that, I don't mess with them older cats is a cop out for I don't know my history. You know what I'm saying? So like do your due diligence. If this is the art form that's paying you, respect it enough to know its elders. You know what I'm saying?
And speaking to that, I want to play just a bit of this, if you will, so that people can understand where you were going when you said, I want them to understand that, we've kind of laid the groundwork for this, as well as it's so very timely because
before the woo was you that told us to protect our essence. With flavor bomb sessions, a rich for adolescents. I rap to keep together who the present was our presence. Be where the boys not. Let me make it clear. Boy cop, boy shot like the buff stops there. And the fact you all dope, reparations manana. And middle finger to Trump from Putin and Melania.
hey.
The sound of the burial in the slums.
All right.
Oh, that was my God. I was like in the middle of the night.
Original
Alright.
digital native tongues. The
And I
sound
was
of the
like,
burial in the slums.
wow, this song is so dope. I said, okay, we have to talk about this because even though you said it was around the election, what just transpired last week with all of the occurrences at the Capitol, this too is very relevant. So
Oh, without question. Without
it
question.
was almost like you saw it when you guys created this, you know?
You know what though? Like I learned a long time ago that, you know, like you in making music, like you speak truth to power. You speak to the plight of the people. And it's something that artists have kind of gotten away a little bit from. Everything is me, and I, you know what I'm saying? And I have, and I own, and, you know, but when you speak to the plight of the people, then the music becomes a little bit more timeless. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually wrote that probably a year ago, you know what I'm saying? But it's that current because it's speaking to our walk. Our walk hasn't changed that much in a year, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so that'll always keep you relevant. You try not to be preachy. You don't kind of you don't stand on a soapbox with it. So, you know, you kind of do it slyly and try to be intelligent and definitely, you know, soulful, but you speak for the people, you know what I'm saying? You could slide in some I in there, but, you know, but don't let that be the catalyst of your career. You know what I'm saying?
I want to tell you that the reason that Champagne and Conversations was even created is because, as much as people may not know it or not, since I was a little person, it was always necessary for me to have a notebook and a pen. And I used to write the lyrics of all the rap songs or all the songs, from Ring My Bell to whatever it was, to whatever song it was. I always wrote the lyrics, and then I would go and perform it in my own little way. So that was too in me. It was, you know, deep rooted in me, as much as to say to you. And the reason that Champagne and Conversation started with this was to give or pay homage to the legends, to be able to converse with those that had the insight, that possessed what was necessary to pioneer through the unforeseen. And it has not been a legend yet that has come on this platform, or even that I've listened to, that has not been able to share your ups and your downs about where you guys were in a certain time frame, but you pioneered through it, and you were able to get something from that, and still, as you just said, give back to the people, because you're still considering us in your movement, in your walk. It wasn't any kind of selfishness, but it allowed for us, just like going to grandma's house, to get some sort of nourishment, some sort of just kind of education, some sort of console, that we come to you guys and say, listen, you've seen this, you've seen these type of situations, but you all came together. And I mean, especially with your pedigree, the groups that you grew up with, phenomenal. I mean, the best of it. And so to be amongst those folks and then be able to say, okay, well, now we're here. It's not as deep of a situation as it is for some of the other ones. Like you say, the new dudes, no disrespect, but you all haven't been able to persevere like these gentlemen and the ladies. I mean, we've had Melba Moore on, and, you know, so on and so forth. And so, you know, with that being said, being able to, you know, just kind of lean into you all. So we thank you for all of what you've been able to provide and to share and to give the gift that you've been able to give us.
And honestly, like we learn from each other, you know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, even now, like, you know, like I was saying, you know, like there's things that as an older artist, I know I can bring to the table, but to be a student is to be observant, you know what I'm saying? And to see the changes and to be able to roll with them as well. Like I dare say that, you know, maybe when I was coming up, the artistry was bigger than than the business aspect. You know, if it's show business, when I was coming up, the show was bigger than the business. Today, the business is bigger than the show. You know what I'm saying? Whereas these kids have incorporated early. They've learned how to monetize what they do early. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like where we concentrated so hard on the artistry and the creativity and what have you, you know, some of our business aesthetics were lacking. You know what I'm saying? You know, you'll hear cats from our era talking about a bad deal and things of that nature. These kids, they're not those kids. You know what I'm saying? Business-wise, they're a little ahead of us where we were. But showmanship-wise and artistry-wise, we're ahead of them. You know, like we were young, and, you know, and if you compare us at same time, the same ages, it's a world of difference. You know what I'm saying? That even goes to why this name of this D&D project is called No Words. The name of the project is called No Words. And I'm of the mindset that this is the album that you play for the younger kid when you're trying to explain to him, like, you know, when our era, when you were trying to explain the golden era or what have you, I could show you better than I could tell you. So it's no words. Just listen to this. You know what I'm saying?
And you were speaking from experience. And you were speaking from experience.
Right.
And
no
you
doubt.
also were embodying an art. And that's different from now. Now it's the dollar so that you can go to the strip club and spend the dollar. And so it has to be, it's a different motivation. You all were speaking of
but it's very hollow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like that's if that's your existence, that's a hollow existence. You know what I'm saying? And you know, right. You know, like life consists of so much more. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we're having to eat cold fries every day. You know what I'm saying? And you hit it right on the head when you said, you know, you go to grandma's, you know, so for a full, balanced, well-nutritioned, soulfully well-prepared with love meal.
Yes.
That's good for you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And, you know, and that's what I'm bringing to the table.
Absolutely.
I'm bringing some home cooking for you, you know?
Absolutely. Right. And so with that, that's why I think that this has lived on, because as you know, 90s, 80s, 90s is getting so much love right now on all platforms. And we're the ones that are, you know, actually playing it, listening to it, asking for it, streaming it, all of those things. So it's amazing to see the life of it, just to kind of resurrect, if you will. And for if it has gone, let me not say that and get anyone upset. It may not have gone anywhere. It might have just laid dormant for a minute, but now it's starting to come back. And all of you all, full of life, full of health, and still full of a message that we can actually take from it and still move and vibe to it, is amazing. And we're appreciative of that.
Yo, I mean, a lot of us are still nice. I did say that, nice. You know, like nice. I honestly feel like this, and you know, like I've spoken to it, that, you know, like if you've cooked for 20 years, you're a master chef. If you've taken karate for 20 years, you know, like you're a master. You know, you can teach. You know what I'm saying? A mechanic for 20 years, you're a master mechanic. You know what I'm saying? I've rhymed for over 25 years. I'm dead nice at what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, and I've been I've been a student, so I've kind of grown. My life has been growing, not only as a person, but as an MC. So, like, you know, I can't wait for people to hear what I'm capable of today. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like, I'm really excited about the project, kind of in a way that I was for my first project. Like, you know, I don't know what it is that I've done, but I know I've done something. You know what I'm saying?
And
so
that's
I really
dope.
can't.
That's dope. And I'm going to tell you now, this is where my fan out will come in. Just before we go into the next part of what I wanted to talk to you about, just in case you guys go on tour when the world opens back up, I'll be the one with the t-shirts and the bandanas. I'll stand at the table and make sure.
Yo, let's put it together. It's all good, no doubt.
Sure
that
they get it. I did it with Unsigned Height with Source. I'll do it with you. Don't worry about it.
That's what's up. Let's definitely we're gonna get to the paper. I promise you, no doubt.
I just run around with the t-shirts. It's no big deal. It's just cool to even know.
Sure. Hey, we done learned our worth. It's all good. Let's put it together. Word up.
But you know, so one thing I want to touch on is, and you mentioned that you used to really study. You all were students of hip hop, and you would go in the house, and this is the best. You would go in the house, you would record the cassette tape. Guys, you remember the cassette tape? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
The cassette tape, and the string would start to come out. You had to get the pencil.
Get the pencil and put it together, no doubt.
And it would turn over, and you had to get it and put it.
Sure,
you know, don't know anything about that.
You know about when it was snap and you cut both ends and you cut a little piece of tape and you tape them together so it goes through again.
You had to be real strategic with that, because if you mess that up, you have ruined the tape. Now you got to wait till the next week. Now you gotta wait till the next weekend to get back out to the record store.
Oh, you know what's up. Yeah, look at you. You know what happens.
Listen, it was not a game.
Right, and that's what the younger generation needs to know went into what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like that's why cats have feelings, because, you know, we got hip hop on the weekends at night when it started. That was it. There was no hip hop during the day on all of the stations and this, that, and the other on television. I remember the first time I heard a beat on television, you know what I'm saying? Let alone what it is today. You know what I'm saying? And all of the loving hip hops and none of that existed. None of it.
Right.
So when a cat is talking to what it was, a younger cat got to understand everything that has happened for them to be who they are.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and even back to what I was saying, like you show cats how, you know, you have respect, that you bring them out, you share in your blessing with the cats that showed you, and to my point is that what you're doing is you're setting the precedence for the younger cats, how they treat you in 5-6 years when you're an older artist. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll learn from your example, and some of the cats my age, and even me sometimes as well, we're guilty of not setting the example that we should have. As much as we tried and as much as we thought we did, we were young too. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, when you're young, things kind of slip through the gaps. And it's not even that it's intentional, and it's not even that you're trying to be any kind of way. You're just young. You know what I'm saying?
But the difference is, when you guys were growing up, you looked to the OGs. So that was your mentorship, that was your guidance, and you showed love and respect for them. So this generation that has kind of a look off, kind of, oh, we're dope, we got it, we don't have to really worry about that. What they need to really concentrate on is the lifespan of what they're doing. And when you mentioned in another, you know, interview that you were doing that the music sounds the same, that's the problem. You know, when we talked with Dougie last year, Dougie said it was no way that you could bite off of one another. No one's sound could be the same. You had to be original. That was it. So
we got on because we sounded like no one else. These kids get on because they sound just like somebody else.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And it's definitely a big difference. And, you know, and variety being the spice of life, like, it becomes dull. You know what I'm saying? If it's the same thing, it becomes bland. You know what I'm saying? Like we need some diversity in our music. And, you know, hopefully it gets back to the point where DJs have a little bit more opportunity to share good music, because with syndication on the major radio stations, what syndication did was it took some of the power out of the hands of DJs. Now they playing a playlist all across the country. So it's all of the same music all across the country, and we can't introduce new music. You know, so hopefully, you know, with the more independent networks and the XMs and, you know, the satellite radios, what have you, you know, people could do a little bit more. But on the major radio stations, I hope we get back to a place where we'll allow the DJs a little bit more influence, because the DJs were the gatekeepers. They introduced us to so many dope things that they don't have the chance to do today. You know, we got to understand what it is.
I think that what's going to happen is, because now radio is so limited, people aren't spending money on radio. So when it does open back up, there'll probably be an opportunity for a lot of consideration, because they're going to want people to spend their money
to come back.
Yeah, or otherwise. So
you're right about that.
And now, in that point, then it's kind of like, you know, do you really want to do radio, or do you just stay on your digital platforms where you can make all the money and not have to spend so much money? So now we have a different bargaining power.
Low leverage, right? No doubt. That's real. See? That's real. And yo, you're very on point. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things that we have to be able to do is to see the terrain, to see what's going on out here. And it changes. It's changed a few times over the years. And, it's one thing to stay up there, but it's another thing to just maintain, you know what I'm saying? And maintenance is very important. And if you don't understand the terrain, sometimes you won't be able to maintain,
That's the pioneer. That's the pioneer that I spoke of. That's how you know when you're watching that. So now tell me how you felt 2010 when your song became a commercial after all the hard work.
Oh, I mean, I'm probably one of the most lucky.
Part. This is the humble.
I'm one of the luckiest people in the world when it comes down to it. Every few years, The Choice Is Yours gets like a rebirth of some sort. So like literally from, a Fat Man Scoop, Be Faithful, revamping it, to the Kia commercial, revamping it. It's right now it's in Enter the Spider-Verse, the cartoon, the Marvel cartoon. You know what I'm saying?
Congratulations.
Thanks. But I've seen it reborn, over and over again. And with each generation, I've been sent, tapes of literally toddlers, knowing the words and singing the words, so they'll grow with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been such a blessing, to have done something that has kind of just walked with the community. I feel very fortunate. Yeah, and you're lucky to have one. I happen to be, the writer of a really good one, which is just a blessing.
Absolutely, it's a blessing. So, and without a doubt, you mentioned that, and I want to make sure I get this part right, so I will read this, but we won't stop until hip hop is the best that it could be, or all that it could be. When are we going to stop?
All right. Shoot. I guess when we stop,
Okay, stop, won't stop, right?
You know what I'm saying? No doubt. Like, I feel like as long as I could do it and it's in me, to do it, then then that's what's up. Like, I look at, especially in different genres of music, be it jazz or R&B, the rock, what have you, like, you're allowed, you know what I'm saying? And, in hip hop, we become real judgmental and this, that, and the other. And, we start looking at, we feel like the end all is to have accumulated, I guess the ability to not have to do it. But when you're not doing it for money, then you really kind of do have to do it. Like, as long as I love music, then this is something I have to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear beats a certain way. I hear records a certain way. I hear where I could flip something. Like, that doesn't go away, you know what I'm saying, when you're a musician. Like, no more than if I play trumpet or drums or what have you. Like, like you're always in tune with music. And, how you wrote lyrics to, when you were younger, like, that's how I learned the power of words. I remember Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life. I sat probably 11 years old on a linoleum floor in the living room and learned the words to both albums, both sides. It was a booklet with all the lyrics. I learned every single word and saw how powerful words are. You know what I'm saying? I learned that, that young, and even learned there was a song in Swahili and Spanish, learned all the words. And right. And at that age, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to write, you know what I'm saying? And, and to see how powerful words were, like, each song made me feel different things, think different things. And, I'm sure when you were writing the lyrics, like, you gathered the same thing, like words are so powerful and they can change your whole day for better or for worse. You know what I'm saying? They can uplift or they can kill, you know what I'm saying? There's so much in the tongue. And, so when you lose that, then you finish, but I still feel like, I got a lot of that in me,
Absolutely. Well, I was going to say, now, when I was writing the lyrics, I just liked the flow. I just thought it was just super dope that, the music was flowing and I could flow just the way that I was listening to it. I really didn't probably even pay attention to what I was saying. However, now when you go back and listen to the words and the flow, I mean, obviously it's natural. It's not like you sat and you just wrote the words and then you had to keep rehearsing it. So when you went into the lab to actually do what you did you already have it planned, or would you just go in the studio and just flow?
Well, different ways, different days. I'm probably a bit of a preparer. You know what I'm saying? Like my best stuff, I think, in my opinion, my best stuff comes from well thought out things that I literally put there for on purpose. You know, not that I don't have the ability to just kind of freestyle something, which I've done plenty of times. You know, just kind of wrote a beat and kind of just put, you know, what I felt in that moment there. But to me, like, you know, to have a concept, to have a hook and build around it, and where everything's congruent and flowing into each other and out of each other, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you were doing math problems.
You know, like almost like, you know, I equate being an MC to being a drummer, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, how are you gonna feel the beat, like the track? How you feel it?
Is that why you wanted to be a drummer? Because that is probably the most.
I didn't want to be a drummer. I just equated to being a drummer.
Okay.
Like, you know, like it's almost like, you know, you have a beat, but as an MC, you're filling in those in between. You know what I'm saying? And so your rhyme becomes you hitting a snare, or you know what I'm saying, like. That's just how I hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll hear it first, and then, you know, words will start coming to me over what I'm hearing. I mean, we all have our process, you know.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
This was such the jam. Yes. I definitely love the fact that it's back and everything is still vibing the same way that it was in the 80s and the 90s when we were doing the gym jams. Because when that came on in the club, and the gentleman that's on doing our streaming tech, I told you he's 16. And I said, when you go to the parties, and he was like, I didn't go to parties. And I was like, well, we went to enough parties. And when we went to the parties, when it came on, it was definitely a party starter. So that part, as it relates to what work you did to prepare for that, you get an A, because it was on point. Yes.
A's are good.
So where do you go from here? I know you have the album that's coming out, and you're looking to probably, I guess, release the entire album, what, summer, or are you gonna wait?
Summer.
Okay.
Summer. Yeah. I actually have there's a mini documentary that's gonna precede it. About the making of the project. You know what I'm saying? Which is being edited right now. It's really an amazing piece of work as well. You know, like, definitely this D&D project is really major. As far as this year, I can't wait for people to hear it. I think it's going to be a really big thing. And I also just kind of agreed to do something with some of my family. You know, I'm part of the native tongue, which is Dilla, Tribe, Jungle Brothers, Moni Love, Queen Latifah, Chi Ali.
You all hear that? You hear that?
You know? So I'm actually about to start a podcast. Me, Mace from De La Soul, and Moni Love. We're about to start the Native Tongue Cast, and so in a couple of weeks, you know, people will start hearing about that. It's going to be something that kind of, you know, the three of us are going to put together, and, you know, just kind of start telling some stories and
that's live
things, talk about current events, and, you know, just we're a voice that's missing right now, you know. So, you know, we kind of have come to the place where we understand that, you know, even now, you know, like, we have to have the initiative within us to put things that should be there, you know what I'm saying? So even at this point, you know, it's an important, I think we have an important voice to put into today's atmosphere. So we're going to put it there, you know, and, you know, hopefully that does well. And, you know, just continue to be creative, doing different things, and, just, and advancing the culture as best we can.
Absolutely. As you know to do. As you know to do. Now, the podcast, is that going to be like Apple, or is that going to be series, or?
Initially, Mace does a lot of DJing on Twitch,
Yeah.
and he's built quite an audience. So initially we're just gonna start it on Twitch, and
Okay.
you know, I'm sure in no time at all, like, you know, once people kind of take notice of it, we can kind of grow it, and maybe we'll wind up going somewhere with it. But you know, maybe we'll wind up staying where we're at. Right? We got, you know, just gonna take it slow and build it on our own, do it real organically, and see where it goes.
That's dope. That is so dope. So as you are doing your podcast, and now you're going to do your release of the album, and we are now at almost the second year, hopefully not all of the second year, but of COVID. What would you leave your fans with as it relates to getting through, whether it be the next half of the year or another year of this? You know, where would you leave them to kind of concentrate, focus on?
I would stress to everyone that the important thing right now is to be still. You know, sometimes in life, you know, we're either going forward or we're going backwards. But sometimes in life, it's really important to know when to just be still. And this is one of those times, you know what I'm saying, that whatever you're trying to do right this second, it'll be your life will be so much greater doing it, whatever it is you're trying to do year after year, even if you have to give it up this time. You know what I'm saying? Right now, be still, stay home as much as you can, stay with your family as much as you can, create as much as you can, you know, like anything that you wanted to do that reflects yourself. I would advise everyone to do it. You know what I'm saying? Learn a language, read some books, start working out, you know, just get online and investigate things that you're interested in, things that will have you stand still. Right now, the world is in a place where, you know, like, it's not for us to second guess what's in our face. You know what I'm saying? Well, I personally lost an uncle. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry to hear that.
COVID. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
To COVID.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And to say that, you know, like hip hop has lost, you know, like already, you know what I'm saying? You know, Fred the Godson and, you know, things thereof, just to say like this is very real, and our lives are greater than this moment. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's for you to maybe work on a relationship. It ain't even got to be your significant other. It might be with your mom. It might be with your kid. It might be anything, you know what I'm saying? But take the moment that God is telling us to be still and get past this moment in time. And if that means we got to give up a little bit of outside time, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? For us to have a lifetime of outside after this moment, you know what I'm saying? And we have to have a little bit of discipline. We have to understand, like, you know, a minor inconvenience is just a minor inconvenience. It's not any form of your rights being taken and, you know, all of that nonsense. Like, you know, let's be smart. And us as a people, and when I say people, I'm saying hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Like, us as a people, like, you know, we're like-minded, you know, like we have an understanding of the ability to change the world. So then we have to have an understanding of the world changing, you know? So, you know, the world is changing right now. And, you know, the best thing to do is to understand the terrain and to move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so take your time, see what's in front of you. Sometimes you got to step back to see the bigger picture. And if that's what you got to do, then do that. But at the end of the day, you know, don't lose yourself to this moment in time.
That is awesome.
There's going to be a lot of time after this moment, you know?
That is awesome.
We all need to be together. You know?
And exactly the reason why we lean into you all, the legends, to be able to give us just a moment of clarity, just to give us a little peace and a bit of understanding, to say, just calm down, just calm down.
Yeah. Sometimes
you all are too crazy. Calm down.
Sometimes that's the answer. And trust me, I've had to learn that the hard way sometimes myself. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, life will sit you down, you know, and you know, the objective is to be able to get up after sitting down. You know what I'm saying? After life sits you down. You want to be able to get up after that. You know what I'm saying? So don't let life sit you down and you don't get up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's something real out there. Acknowledge it, respect it, do what you got to do. Keep your family safe. You know what I'm saying? And you know, keep yourself safe, and you know, and put God first. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like he don't make no mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So you know, so this means something. You know what I'm saying?
Means something.
Right.
And we appreciate you because this meant everything. So thank you so much.
If I can, let everybody know how to stay in touch with me.
Absolutely. And all of the platforms that your music is going to come out on, I'm assuming you'll have all of that on your IG or what have you as well.
Without question, we'll be big. Follow me on IG at BlackSheep Dres. That's DRES, BlackSheep Dres. On Twitter at Dres BlackSheep. And you can definitely go to my website, which is called Pool of Genius, poolofgenius.com. And you can pick up all of the solo albums I've put out. I actually did an album with me and Jerobi from A Tribe Called Quest under the name Evertan, and there's videos, there's merch, you know what I'm saying? So definitely stay in touch with me, y'all, and I wish everybody nothing but a lot of love and a lot of blessings and safety. Word up.
Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for taking out the time to join Champagne and Conversations.
I appreciate it, for real. And I definitely hope you have a happy new year, and I wish you much luck and love with your platform. I hope it blows out of the stratosphere.
Thank you so much. And I have some things coming your way. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you.
Yes.
Sincere. Definitely raise a glass to you this year.
Oh, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, the legend, Dres from BlackSheep, and all the other amazing projects that he has actually been a part of. The new project, again, Dres, is called
D&D, Dilla and Dres. Name of the album is called No Words. It'll be out this summer.
Yes, and we are excited and waiting for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Champagne and Conversations.
Peace.